To qualify to be a President of India, the candidate must be a citizen of India. She or he should be at least 35 years of age. The candidate should not hold any office of profit under the Government of India or government of any state or any other public authority. The candidate should be qualified for elections as member of the Lok Sabha. Elections for presidency is done by the elected members of the parliament, and the elected members of legislative assemblies of all states and union territories. This is referred to as the Electoral College. The president is elected for a period of 5 years. The reason why the president's election is not done directly is because, then, the president could become a rival center of power to the Council of Ministers. Hence, as a protection, the president becomes a nominee of the ruling party at the center. The president may be removed from her or his position via a procedure called impeachment. Normally, this is done for violation of the constitution. The first step is that either House of Parliament can initiate proceedings for impeachment. This proceedings will require a 14-day notice in writing, by minimum 1/4 of the members of that house. The resolution to impeach will then have to be passed, by a minimum of 2/3 of the members of that house. Then, the resolution goes to the other house, which will investigate the charges against the president. The second house will also have to pass the resolution with a minimum of 2/3 members of that house. After which the president would be impeached. As the head of the state, the president has many powers: executive, legislative, discretionary, emergency. The president is the head of union administration and all executive orders are issued in his or her name. The president makes appointments to key posts to run the government's administration. These are appointment of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. The Council of Ministers are appointed on the advice of the Prime Minister. The President also appoints the Chief Justice and the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts. The President appoints the governors of the states, lieutenant governors and various other constitutional heads. The President can also appoint an inter-state council to promote center-state and inter-state cooperation. The administration of the union territories and the border areas are the responsibility of the President. Take a moment to look at all the executive powers of the President. Amongst the legislative powers of the President is that she or he can address Parliament after election, and at the beginning of each session. The President can send a message at any point to either House of Parliament. The President has the power to summon and prorogue the Houses and dissolve the Lok Sabha. The President nominates 14 members to the Parliament, 12 of these are to the Rajya Sabha and 2 to the Lok Sabha. Any bill cannot become an act until it is approved by the President. The President can send a bill back with amendments, but must approve it when Parliament sends it back for approval a second time. A bill with regard to formation of a new state can only move in the Parliament after the assent of the President. The governor of the state may reserve some bills passed by the state legislature for the consideration of the President. Take a moment to look through the legislative powers of the President. The President enjoys some discretionary powers. When no party gains majority of the Lok Sabha, the President using her or his discretionary power to appoint the Prime Minister. After the vote of no confidence is passed against the prevailing government, the President may dissolve the Parliament or ask leader of another party to prove its majority on the floor of the House. The President can also dismiss ministers, in case the Council of Ministers lose the confidence of the House and refuse to resign. The President can declare a national emergency if satisfied that the security of the nation is threatened by war, or external aggression, or an armed rebellion. Take a moment to look through the discretionary powers of the President. In extreme circumstances, the President can declare a national emergency. During emergency, the fundamental rights of citizens, except Article 20 and 21, are suspended. Emergency gives power to Parliament to make rules on many state subjects. Many powers of the state are curtailed. The nation loses its federated spirit, because the state administration is directly placed under the President, with the governor acting in accordance with the instructions issued by the Union government. The President may either dissolve the Vidhan Sabha and dismiss the Council of Ministers, or keep them in suspended animation. The President may authorize expenditure from the State Consolidated Fund, when the Lok Sabha is not in session. Take a moment to run through the list of powers that the President has during a national emergency.